Hello, I'm Priyanka Deshmukh. I welcome you all to the curtain raiser session on HR Simulathon 2023, the Battle of HR Titans. This initiative is brought to you by Humanlinks and InvokHR in association with XLRI, NCR Campus, and Tata Steel Adventure Foundation. This brief interaction will help us know more about this contemporary and revolutionary HR contest. To know more about this marathon from our experts, Debashish and Vipin. Before jumping into the questions and answers, I would like to give a brief introduction about both of them. First is Debashish, who is CEO of Humanlinks, and he was a former Chief People Officer at Trans Maldivian Airways, the world's largest seaplane company, and had been HR leader at IBM and many more companies. He's a management professional with over 30 years of experience, having experience in startup, mezzanine, and operationally stable companies, managed teams across 15 countries in Asia, Africa, North America, and Europe. So currently he's a lead assessor for ISO 9001 and he's certified in People, CMM and COPC. He is an engineer from NIT and is alumnus of XLRI Jamshedpur from 94 batch. And he's an evolution panel member at Innovation Lab of Northeastern University, Boston. And the second expert we have is Vipin Arora, who is MD, Managing Director at InvokHR Solutions. Vipin is a multifaceted professional with experience spanning 28 years across corporate and consulting. Apart from leading complex HR assignments across the APAC region, he has good exposure to board functioning, angel investing, and startup advisory. His last corporate stints were as APAC HR head with US MNC, Residio, and APAC compensation and benefit leader, Honeywell. He has also worked with Case New Holland and Daksh. He is a knowledge partner for SHRM and regularly conducts master classes. He has been a jury for professional awards and speaker at many professional forums and B-schools. He is a national scholarship holder, an engineer by qualification, alumnus of XLRI Jamshedpur, 1995 batch, a certified OKR practitioner, and a certified independent director. Bashish, can you please tell us about Humanlinks?
Humanlinks is into business simulation games. We use simulations for assessments in corporates and also training programs in corporates. In addition to that, we also use simulations to improve understanding of concept in B schools. So we do participate in assessment centers, development journeys of corporate.
That's great. Now, Vipin, I would want you to please tell us about InvokHR.
InvokHR is a boutique HR consulting firm, and we deal in all kinds of HR services and solutions. And we work with right from big MNCs to startup solutions. And we operate in three verticals. One is the advisory, where we provide consulting services related to total rewards, leadership development, policies, processes, and M&A integrations. The second vertical is on the applications, where we support in the recruitment, compensation surveys, and various other HR automation processes. And the third vertical is the outsourcing, where we support primarily startups and small medium enterprise into various customized HR support solution as an outsourced HR function.
So we all have heard about simulation, but probably most of us exactly don't know what is simulation. So if you can briefly explain the concept of simulation to us.
So if you try to find out a definition for simulation, then in simple terms, it's a tool which can replicate real life situations or real life process, real life strategies, real life events to whatever extent possible. And to give an example, let's talk about people who go through this MBBS program, right? So they learn surgery, they learn pharmacology, they learn pathology, they learn many subjects. Let's take surgery for example. Now, at the end, the goal is to dissect human body and do some corrective interventions, etc., etc. Now, after the classroom, after going through those textbooks, after listening to the professor and interacting with peers, would you leave somebody to go and start doing surgery in an OT? You won't. So that's the reason why all MBBS students are asked to dissect cadavers before they are asked to assist or perform surgeries in operation theater. If they don't do that, then it will be straight away jumping from books, concepts to application or into real life situations, which can be really disastrous. But in many cases, people pass out from B schools, people come out of training sessions, and they are allowed or asked to straight away jump into a situation and start working.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And Priyanka, I will just add one more point. I think while this is what it is, but the second good part about simulations is that they also make learning very interesting and interactive. So and also these are very customizable in terms of to what extent of depth you want to really check that. So it makes it a very unique method of learning that way. So I just wanted to add that point to what Devashish mentioned.
Somehow I'm so curious to know how both of you conceived this idea and how it took a form of an event which we are seeing.
Very interesting story. And it goes back to almost Christmas time when Devashish and we were having a cup of coffee in the one of the clubs in Delhi's winter, and we were talking for a very long time about trying to do something related to HR capability, and we have been thinking about it, talking about it, also how we can use technology in terms of building that capability. And that's when we thought of why not organize a contest. Because if we just tell people to really experience this technology through some kind of maybe experience, and maybe we tell them to do it, then maybe the kind of fun element may be missing, while learning may be there. So we tried to bring learning and fun together and thought, why not we create a contest? And when we talked to a couple of people, everybody loved the idea, and in fact they said, please do it. And we also talked to a couple of people who had global teams. They said, why not, if it's a virtual contest, why not open it up? And that's how we started. Initially, we were thinking that maybe we will see if it is a small event. But as we saw the participation and the interest level, we thought of creating a complete event like HR Simulathon. And I thought this will help us bring that fun and learning to HR fraternity, which they are not exposed to. Maybe Devashish, you want to add something?
Yeah, I think you said it all. Just to add a couple of things, we also talked about functional capabilities. So we have so many tools for learning and assessment around managerial skills, leadership skills, which are good. But we lack in testing people, their functional skills, or providing opportunities, platforms where people can figure out where they stand from a functional skill perspective. And that was one of the key perspectives why we thought a simulathon in particularly HR space would be a good idea.
Right. So like what can we expect during this event, if you can just tell us more about like day wise and the module wise, if you can just briefly tell us, any one of you.
So basically we have divided this into 4 simulations. So there are 4 simulations on 4 themes. One is on recruitment, one is on compensation, there is one on learning, and 4th one is on the digital HR. So typically one simulation may take about an hour or so. Depending on the person, it could even take 1.5 hours. And the window opens on 23rd morning, 10 a.m. and closes on 26th evening, 6 p.m. in Indian Standard Time. So during these 80 hours, people can play any of these simulations as per their comfort and time. And so typical commitment would be 4 to 6 hours during this 80 hours window. And that's why it can be done anytime from anywhere. And people would be, it is also something that they can do it together. Let's say if somebody wants to do all 4 together, somebody wants to do 1 per day, that complete freedom is there. We know people are busy, and so we have kept it a longer window for them to operate.
So that leads to the next question maybe in my mind, that's how I think international participants across the time zones can participate, because it is virtual and you can complete it into that time frame, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm seeing it that participants ranging from working professionals or participants who are on sabbaticals or from these schools, everyone is participating. So how do they benefit, category wise? How do corporates benefit? I think Debashish has already spoken, but the people on sabbaticals and from these schools.
Okay, so for corporate working professionals, this event is going to really help a lot. And one of the ways it will help is that many times they are working in a particular area or sub-function of HR, and sometimes they also want to explore how much they have acquired knowledge, and if there are complex situations, will they be able to deliver? And there are also many times people are actually looking for growth and maybe some bit of expansion of area. So for example, if somebody has been a recruiter throughout, wants to, but has been doing mostly sourcing, but also knows about maybe planning of recruitment, manpower and all, wants to understand it more and wants to check how the concepts are applied. This is one area. Even across sub-functions, I may be a HR journalist, but maybe not very sure of some of the compensation aspects. I have interest, I like it, but this gives me an opportunity that I know something, but let me try it out. It also gives a level of understanding, not only the exposure, but also the measure of how much I know or what are the areas I need to improve. I think for an individual, it is going to be a very exciting, I would say, journey or revelation in terms of how well they know about a particular concept and where they need to focus more on. That's how working professionals should get immense benefit out of it. The people who are on sabbatical, I think it's an excellent opportunity, because many times when they plan to join back workforce, there is always a little bit of anxiety in terms of whether I'm slightly behind the market in terms of the new knowledge, and am I still fresh with the kind of maybe application. So in this scenario, it's a good way for somebody to supplement that knowledge that the person would have been gathering and try to test it out before or maybe before thrown into the real life situation, and gain that kind of confidence. So this is a big help that way. In fact, we will also talk about it later, but we are also planning to provide a post-event kind of support if somebody really needs more deep dive and support in terms of the personal development, wants more support in terms of learning. So we will also come back with that kind of support if people want. So that's typically about sabbaticals. And maybe Debashish can talk about the B schools, because he has been conducting it in the B schools and interacting a lot there.
Yeah, so many of the large B schools have experienced our simulations already. And what we have noticed is people don't have the opportunity to test out their concepts. Right. Even at least in corporate, you still have some opportunities, but for B schools, they are very, very limited. Primarily also because when you are studying, you have concepts at different levels. It's not only around strategies, right? You have tactical issues, you have operational issues around which we teach concepts in B schools. Now, there are very limited simulations which address those competencies and how to apply those competencies. And when people join corporates, those are the competencies, or those are the depth level of competencies where they immediately start working on. They don't work on strategies on day one. Whereas whatever simulations are available today for B schools, those are at strategy level at the most. We have simulations at different levels addressing different competency depths. So this is a big benefit for B school from that perspective.
Definitely every participant is getting benefited. So the next process might be, how do one can register and what are the charges? What is the process?
Yeah. So If you really look at simulations, again, these are obviously there is a lot of time and effort that goes in designing a simulation from the point of view of expertise and technology. So we realize that, and so we are offering it totally free of charge. So there is absolutely no free, no charge related to it. The details can be referred on our website, simulathon.com. However, we have just kept a very small token amount for registration for people who are registering through personal IDs, only for the sake of verification purposes, because we don't want unverified people to.
So once this event gets over, what can participants expect in terms of result or any other activity?
As we have published on our website, there are awards. Of course, the awardees will know about that. Then there are certificates that we will be providing to top 50 participants, and their list we will be publishing on the website, particularly the corporate participants and those who have excelled. Beyond that, from a development perspective, we plan to share, apart from the results, detailed reports for people who are interested to know more where they stand. So we plan to create consolidated reports for all those people who come back to us later, the details of which will be soon published on the website. So if they keep looking at the website, coming back to the website, they would know more about the subsequent actions that we are planning based on the outcomes here. Vipin, would you add anything?
No, I think so two things, because this was also something that a couple of people asked offline. So we are not sharing results to anybody, because this is a learning opportunity. We want to keep the results confidential, so people will get to see their own individual results. Even if there are group of participants coming through a corporate, they will be seeing their own results. But to the corporate, we may be just sending the consolidated average, just to make sure that if any particular company wants to take initiatives on their HR capability building, they just know the gross level. So for example, their entire team stands in the top quartile in recruitment, or maybe at bottom quartile in learning, so that they can, if they really want to do some activity for learning and development for their team, they can do it. But no individual results will be shared. And like Devashish talked about, depending on how individuals or corporate want to take it, we will offer some additional kind of programs for individuals. And in terms of the corporate, we are already doing many programs on development journey for corporates. So if some corporates want our help for that development, we will do it. And in case any such big development program also requires involvement of faculty, we have tie-up with XLRI, the NCR campus, and if they want outbound kind of learning, we have our partner Tata Steel Adventure Foundation, who will also then come in to make sure that the complete learning and development opportunity is provided.
That sounds great. So how you think that this event is unique, and maybe in coming days this may be a trend-setting event?
Unique because nobody has ever done it, so that's a short answer. And
Really?
Trend setting because I'm sure many people would want to do it going forward, because it's a sheer power of technology and expertise together, and I'm sure many people would want to do it, participate in it. Already in our first event itself, the kind of tremendous response we have got, we have almost participation from 75 plus corporates, where their participants are coming from there. So I think the kind of interest level and the response is phenomenal, and this is something that that will give a boost to technology in learning. So I'm very sure it is going to set a trend.
Definitely. As a last question, looking at the response, as you mentioned, many of the corporates and from many companies, they have already registered. So looking at the response, do you plan this in coming years, or maybe what will be the frequency of this event?
Looking at the response, we are really excited, and there is nothing why we shouldn't continue this. and we would love to include new simulations every time that we do, so there will not be any repetitions. As I said, the platform that we use is capable of creating simulations in 2 to 3 weeks max, and we look forward to having this event at regular intervals with new simulations for sure.
And I will just add one point here, and I think somewhere Devashish and I, when we were talking about conceiving the event itself, if you really look at, the answer lies in the title itself. It is HR Simulathon 2023, which means before even we launched it, we were very, very sure that this is going to get a tremendous response and we will be launching it. And I'm sure the next event is going to be bigger and grander than this. And the current response rate shows us that. So I just thought, let me add that, because but the point is, we not tried it, even though we were very confident, but the response shows that people have really liked it. And I'm sure once they go through this experience, there will be more word of mouth and people would be talking about it, sharing their experience, and it will increase further this kind of awareness about the use of technology for learning. And I will just add one more point here, and this is something like we call it, mostly in HR we have organized a lot for other functions, in maybe hackathons for IT and many other things, but I think this is one event which is for HR, where they now focus on their own development.
That absolutely sounds great and shows how deeply conceived this idea is. So looking forward and very excited to be part of this HR Simulathon 2023. Thank you so much, Debashish and Vipin, for clarifying and helping us know this event better. Thank you so much.
And to all the participants, see you there for the battle, and may the best brains win.